Hello and welcome to my channel. Today is the day where we are starting to make a couple of new journals. And this is how it looks in the beginning. I have chosen this size that will be on my journal. If you want to follow, you can make your own and choose your own size. You can do it whatever size you want, actually. But I think I want to make a smaller one so I can take it with me and kind of have it as a little on the road or in the waiting room or on the bus kind of journal. So I have done it a little bit smaller. So I have taken an A5 and fold it in the middle. And these are just ordinary paper from an old, I have it here, from an old book. I found this in one of my old stashes. And the paper are a little bit shiny, so they were perfect to paint on. So I have painted watercolor straight onto them to use them, so I didn't have to gesso them. So it's a bit different what paper you use if you need to prepare them, if you want to paint on them with some water mediums. But I wanted this as a little start so they wouldn't be totally white. And I have taken 10 of these and put them together. So they are 10 different, but mine are in the blue, brown, turquoise, greenish colors because that's what I like. But use those colors that is important to you and that makes you feel good and calm and happy. I have done another one that looks like this. It's a little bit more colorful with more pink and green and lilac colors. So I will probably make this also if there isn't anyone that suddenly want to buy the kit. Then I need to help those people that want to have it done like this. I have also taken out a few things that textile I have painted or some laces that I think I want to use. But that will probably change during the making of this one. We will do the cover later when we see how it's going to evolve. For now, I'm going to just leave it like this so that I can take it apart in case I want to sew on the pages or something like that. As this isn't going to be as an ordinary journal. Sorry, you know, my sore throat isn't totally mended yet. It has moved to my nose, so it's not so terribly hurtful to speak, at least. So you can start with white papers if you want to decorate them later on. I just think that this is nice to have a little background when I start. You can use eco-dyed pages, or you can even use textile if you would like to have a textile journal. That works too. I started just a moment ago with just the one that I'm going to have in the middle, because I wanted to show you that I put textile on this one. I don't do it on every one in this little journal because it will build up too much space in the middle. So it will be kind of like that even before we have started. But I want to have one in the middle on this side and probably some kind of textile on the back of the cover, so it will secure when I sew. The paper can break easily if we just have paper on the first and the last page. So that's a bit of security. And then when I did this, I just collaged a few pieces, and I used my ordinary bookbinding glue. You can also use some matte medium when you collage, and put kind of a coat on top of it in case you want to do some watercolor painting. So we can actually do that on this one. So we are going to continue with this slowly but continuously. So you maybe not will see every page I do, but at least so many so you can feel secure to make your own. This is a nice way to secure the papers to stay down, still be matte, and you can paint on top of them if you would like to, or add something wet. Acrylic paint or some pens, and it won't bleed through to the other side. When you use paper like this that is printed on an ordinary printer and not a laser, when you put glue on the back of these, they can change color because they get wet. So using matte medium is a bit better. It will keep the colors as they are. So that's one way to do it. So I also did a little bit of embroidery before we started, so I would have something to collage with. So I have just taken a piece of eco-dyed textile, some linen, an old lace, and I did just embroider some simple stitches on it. Just forward and back, nothing fancy at all. And I thought we could add this on the page. And I'm going to do kind of like this. I will do a page, and you can get ideas, and then you can do it your way. And I will also add some quotes and words on the pages, so it will be kind of a little positive book to open and enjoy, and that feels nice. And the matte medium dries really quickly, and if you don't like that the pages are getting a bit buckly, you can just go and iron them. I'm using a parchment paper on top of it, and then I iron them. And that's also much easier if you haven't put it together right away. But that's up to you, but I think it's easy to do it this way. But I almost never sew straight into the journal. I do it like this instead. I'm taking a piece of paper or textile, do the sewing and the embroidery, and then glue it down. That way you don't get the stitching on the next page. And it still looks really nice. Sometimes I do it just for the decoration on the both of the pages, but mostly I do it on a separate piece and then kind of glue it in later on. And if you want to, you can do as we do in the other journals, make pockets. You can make some tuck spots, but for me this is a journal that I'm going to play in, so I'm not going to save things in it. I'm just going to read the quotes, enjoy working in it, and I will just have a couple of pockets on the inside of the cover, so I can take some things with me when I eventually, or maybe, is taking it on a trip or something like that. So that's one way to do it. And if you don't want to write your own quotes, you can print out kind of words like this and put them together, and there are different digitals that you can use to put words together or sentences or quotes, and you can just search for that on Etsy and print them out for no money at all. And that's partly what I'm going to do. A few I have printed on my old typewriter from 1913, and that's a bit fun to use when you have printed it on that old machine. Okay, so go and prepare your papers and find some things that you would like to use, and we can get started. So let's make a page from start. I have taken another piece of the papers, and I'm going to put down some papers to make a little background, and then we will see where we go from there. So this is just some small scraps that I have gathered from different old books and papers. And I'm going to put it down with matte medium. You can use glue, but this way I get a coat. So if I want to put some watercolor on it, it works perfectly. Now I have this nice paper anyway, but if I had used ordinary paper, I had a bit of problem with that. And if your pages buckle, don't be afraid. They will straighten out when they dry, and if you want them even drier, you can just use your iron and iron them. I put a piece of parchment paper on top of it, and then I iron it. So that's totally okay. And for those of you that are screaming that don't cover that watercolor painting, I promise you I won't cover everything on every page, but it's mostly to get me going. So it's totally okay to cover up the backgrounds. And if you don't want to cover everything, you can just leave parts of your background as they are. And that works too. Let's see something more. Maybe we could use the other part down here. Okay, I will leave this to dry for a few seconds and then I will be back. So it's dry and I'm just going in with a few strokes of white gouache. Just to get something going on the page. Before we do something more. And then I think I want to have something a bit darker. So I'm going to make myself a little collage piece that I like with some dark marks on it. So I'm just going to use some black watercolor. Kind of just make something that will stand out a little bit. And in case I would like to use this one, let's do something on this too. Don't think so much. Just do what comes to you. You're still making this for fun. Just some random circles. So put that aside to dry for a little while and see if we can do some kind of, I want to have a little cluster with some textile pieces. And again, instead of stitching or sewing straight onto the page, I'm going to do the cluster like this. And that way we don't need to have some stitching on the back side of the page. I think I want that side. Some cheesecloth and a piece of watercolor paper can go down there. And what more do we have? That was too small. I want something that is a little bit more heavy. Heavy piece of lace somewhere. Maybe something from this one. Don't be afraid to cut into your doilies. It can make wonder if you get the right piece on the right spot. Everything is getting stuck in something else. As we are going with some black mark making, I think we can go with some black thread to make it stand out a little bit. And don't be afraid of the stitching if you're not used to do some, because this is just something you do up and down and back and forward. Nothing that you need to go with a pattern or something like that. Just go with the thread and enjoy the calm moment when you can do this. Could have waited until it had dried, but why take that chance? And stitching into paper goes perfectly nice too. No problems. Going back on the back side, I think I'm going to put another little stitch down here. Just to kind of make it to go together in some way. Hold the balance. And just a little knot on the back. Okay, let's see. This has dried. So I think I actually like this better. But we need to try first before we decide. Too much of the black marks. Sorry. I want this in the middle. Then I have a little quote: peacefulness of the scenery. Hope that feels. Okay, our first page is done. And this was really, really fun. To just follow your own mind and having fun. Kind of losing yourself into something. You need to try this. It's really healthy. So thank you so much for watching, and we will be continuing this little project. So keep an eye on my channel, and I will see you soon again. Bye bye from Sweden.